Hello folks, I'm about to start covering the upper wing, and that'll be the final part of the covering process on this Fokker DR1. And the neighbourhood cat, Sooty, has decided to come in and help me. So if you want to see the journey of the final part of this journey of covering with dress lining, then jump on board. If you've never seen it before, I think you may find it useful. If you have seen the other parts, well, let's see the end of the journey, yeah? Here we go then. I've cut the panels out that are required for this, and I'm going to actually attempt to do it in two goes. So the bottom will be covered in one piece and the top will be covered in one piece. The top will be very straightforward, however the bottom will be a little bit more awkward because the brackets for the cabin struts were going to interfere with the lie of the cloth, obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'll start off at this end, clamp it down, get it attached, bring it along to this point, cover it here, bring it, keeping it taut, and then make a cut here and lift it over. I think it'll work out okay. It's all been prepared. It's got a coat of Mod Podge all the way around the outside and on the ribs because I want to stop them from sagging too much, so I want to get them nice and taut. So coffee time, then I'll put the iron on and we'll get started. Here we go then, iron's on. I've cut the material to size with quite a generous overlap. These brackets for the cabin struts are going to be a bit of a pain. Let's see how we'll go. It's quite a lot of material to do. So I've concertinaed it up, makes it easier to handle. Try and get a generous amount on both ends. There you go. I'm going to put a little clip on to stop it pulling. Right, I'm going to tack it here and treat this as one panel up to this point, and then I'll trim it. Hopefully I can pull it over the top. If the worst comes to the worst, it'll be cut here and joined. It's on the underside, you won't see it. So let's have a go, see how it goes on. For those who haven't seen me using this material, I'm reactivating the Mod Podge glue underneath with the heat of the iron. I think it'd probably work, almost certainly would work with most PVA glues. And I'm sealing all the way along this edge, and then I'll pull a bit of tension on to this one, and then a little bit in the middle, then work along, keeping the tension on. Not happy with that, so yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I'm trying to take as much slack out of this as I can without adding heat to tighten it. It does shrink. Put the heat on there to take that off again because I'm not happy with that. It does shrink, but I want to take advantage as much as I can getting it as taut as I can without the shrinkage. Just gives you a little bit more room to play with if you take that approach. Running nicely. If you're not happy with it, you just pull it back off and then reapply some heat. Not happy with that, I'm pulling it tight. Not happy with that, lift it off, pull it tight. That's the way to do it. Seal around the hatch for the aileron and for the strut. And then I'm going to come back and seal these. Let's deal with this. Now, I'm going to put a cut in there and use the slack to pull it over. A little bit of tension here. There we go. That's good. It's gone over nicely. The one at the other side might be a bit more awkward because of the angle. Now, I'm not sure whether to iron these down and then cut that. I think what I'll do is I'll put tension on as much as I can, tuck that in without gluing it, cut this, loop it over, come on, a little bit more, needs a touch more, there you go. I think that's going to work. I'm going to take that off and use it to clamp that bit, just to hold it. That feels good. I feel like I've got round the part that I was worried about. Put a bit of tension on here. Goes quiet when you're concentrating. There you go. Take that off now, happy with that. And if you're not happy, you wrinkle there, put a bit of heat on, pull it out, reapply the heat, and it reactivates the glue underneath. It's very satisfying when you get to this stage with a model. impose a little bit of tension on how it's going to turn out. Let's move this, untangle some of the plugs. Now I can put the tension on the whole length. Now this dress lining is available in a multitude of colours. I've never personally used them because I've never felt the need to, but if you were doing a vintage model, for example, and you wanted a nice coloured finish, you could go the route of getting the coloured dress lining. I think I actually found one site that had over 60 different shades. And I'm sure that if there's that many shades, you've got to find something that suits you, your fancy. Right, I'll pause the video here just while I go around the edges. I think you get the general idea. Perhaps show you how I do the tips, and then we'll flip it over and do the other side. I'm going to apply the covering to the tips now, and this is where hopefully you'll see the amount of stretch you can get out of this material. So I want to form it around the tip, so it's handy to have a bit of excess when it comes to this. Sealing it round, putting a little bit of tension on it, a little bit of pressure. I'm quite happy with that, it looks nice. Pull it round. The excess allows you to get a hold of it, always be trimmed off. And there's a little stubborn wrinkle there, not wrinkle, bit of puckering, and I'll get that out with a blast of the heat gun. But I'll repeat that on the other side, fold this over, cut off the excess, and then Mod Podge over the top of the material that I've glued down so that the upper layer's got something to stick to. Let's push on. The lower wing has been covered, sorry, the underside of the upper wing has been covered, and I thought I had some extension cables for the servos, but I don't. So I've laid some thread, well, cord actually, through to the exit point above the cabins, so that I can pull the cable through when I get some ordered. So let's get cracking and get the upper covering on, and then that's the covering job done, apart from the ailerons, which will get finished today. I hope you can see there that that's the basic covering done of that wing. Obviously this needs to be tidied up and ironed over and trimmed up. Then I'll seal it all with some thin down 60-40 dope, and the ailerons to do, some horns to make for them, and then I can't resist it, we'll have to mock it all up and see what the whole thing looks like together. I'll finish this off and then we'll get the ailerons done. And here we have it then. That's the wings completed, all covered. I've doped around the edges. I haven't actually fully shrunk this yet. I'll leave it in this state until I'm ready to dope. And that's going to need to wait until the weather's a bit fairer. It's okay doping around the edges indoors, just about, for me anyway. But when it comes to large areas, it's got to be an outdoor job. It's just too hazardous to the health and I don't like doing it. But what I have discovered when I've been doing this, when you're using this dress lining, you do get stray fibres which create a rough edge at the overlaps. And I've found that with the application of the heat of the iron, you can smooth all of those out. It's just with working with such a large model and doing so much covering, I've sort of really got tuned in with this process. And I find that works really well. So there we go. I'm rather pleased with that. Remember, for those of you who've been following this, I didn't have any plans for this wing. And the wings that came with the model were totally destroyed. So I simply worked from the middle wing and calculated and worked it out from there, and I'm really pleased with that. I think it looks rather nice. Can't resist now. Let's see what it looks like all put together. Why not? Well, there you have it. That's the covering completed. Quite a drawn out process, but I think well worthwhile. I'm pleased with the result. It needs to be finely shrunk with the heat gun and then doped. And that's a job for fairer weather because it really does need to be done in a ventilated area. When that opportunity comes, I'll be cracking on. I think I've got a really nice colour scheme to go with this plane. But there's lots of other work still to be done. There's radio equipment to install, figure to paint up, guns to mount. Lots of projects in the workshop at the moment. So if you've enjoyed this journey, please subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you don't mind, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Take care.